friends, welcome back. Before I start today's video, I'll have to apologize in case I cough during this video. I've been sick for the last few days and been nonstop coughing. Um, anyway, enough about that. Let's get started. Let's solve problem of the day from January the 5th, because today is January the 5th, from the Leetcode website. The problem is longest increasing subsequence, and it's rated as a medium difficulty question. And let's see what we can do about it. So the question is, given an integer array nums, return the length of the longest strictly increasing subsequence. And it has some examples in here as well. And it basically says if nums is this, then so we go here and we go like 2, 3, 7, 101. Like we're skipping the 5 in here, and the answer is 4. Here we go 0, 1, skip these 2, and then 2, 3, it's 4. And then here, because it's equal and the question is asking us to only choose the one which are strictly increasing, then the result would be 1. As you see, I've put something in here, and this solution works with this minor change. And I can explain what's going on exactly in here. I put this in here on purpose because like this is the first solution that came to my mind when I looked at the problem, and the runtime was not good. And then I tried to make it more efficient as like as I looked at it. So if you look at this, I'm going to explain to you what this is doing. So the name of the function basically is length of list, or list in this example. That's the name that they suggested themselves, so I didn't really change that. The only input to the functions is nums, which is the array of the input that we're getting, and it's going to return an integer, right, which is the length of the longest subsequence. Basically, what all I'm doing here is that I'm saying if not nums, which means if the array that you gave me is an empty array, return 0 and don't do anything about it, right? Which is straightforward. But if that's not the case, if you have something in your array, I'm like basically defining a variable n that I keep the length of nums in there. And I have this long subsec list defined as like, it's basically a list or an array, the same size as the nums, the input. And basically each element in this list represent the length of the longest increasing subsequence ending at that index, right? So I initialize it with all ones, right? And then I loop through that. I start from the first element, well, the second element, which is at position 1, because it's 0 indexed. And I just loop, right? I loop, and if the conditions are met, which is num I is greater than the num j, then I'm going to update my long subsequence, right? And then like at the end, once I'm doing iterating through everything, I just return the maximum. This works, and as I said, like we can run it to see how it works. It's not too bad, but it's not what I had in mind. And as you see, like it beats like 67% of the users with Python 3, and the memory is not the best. As I said, there's always a trade-off in between. Now actually let's change this, and I want to do something else. So let's copy this, bring it over, and let's just have everything back. And I don't need this because it's not a class. And you can keep these, like these actually help you help your code to be like more readable, because like it says that, okay, like the input is this, the output is that, and you know, all that things. But anyway, I just want to keep it short and simple. So I still want to do the check-in here, but now I want to do this part differently. So I'm just going to comment this part out and come up with a different solution. I'm going to go lis, or I don't know, longest. I just like use the same name actually. Um, doesn't really matter. It doesn't represent the same thing, but it does sort of, but it's different. You will see. Um, that equals a list, right? But I only want to put one element in the list instead of like initializing the whole list with all ones. I just want to put in here nums 0. I put the first element of nums into this guy, right? And then what I want to do is for E for elements in nums from 1 to end, right? You remember when we were talking about the column and like this notation, it's basically saying, okay, I already have element number 0 in here. Start from element number 1 and go forward. For each of these, if E is greater than this guy, right? And I want to go -1, which represent the last, like the end elements, right? The last element in the list. If that's the case, then not list, sorry, this guy, that append, we want to append it to the list, right? Because the condition is true, it's greater than the one we already had at the end of the list. So I'm just going to append it to the list. But if that's not the case, then what I want to do, I want to do something funny here. I want to go like IDX for index, and I want to use the bisect library. Bisect the, what is it? Oh, I have to import it. So import bisect. Okay. And then here I go bisect that, bisect left, right, of this guy and E. I'll explain in a second what it does, right? And then this would be E, right? And once that's done, I want to return length of this guy. So basically what's happening here is that I'm using the bisect library and bisect left method specifically. And all I'm doing here is that I'm saying compare what we have to the last one, like start looping from the second element to the very last element and compare it to the previous ones, right? If the condition was true, then keep appending. But if it's not true, then use this guy. What does it do? It finds the location of the input. So it looks at E and looks at this list in here, and it tries to keep the list sorted. So it finds the index that it's supposed to put E in there, so that the list is sorted, so it doesn't change anything, right? I can show you in an example. So if I go, for example, nums equal the example that they were using. So let's go back and see the example that they were using. So just gonna bring this guy over. So if I go this and I say L, for example, equals this, right? And then print L. I just want to run it first to make sure that it works. So it's 4. And the next thing that I want to do is to just like get the runtime and everything before explaining it to you. I don't want to go ahead and like explain everything and be like, oops, sorry, this was wrong. So let's go back in here and change this to this, right? And I have to tab it to, and if I submit this, and it's thinking, and as you can see, it's like beats 94.49% of the users with Python 3, and the memory is better because like I'm not initializing the whole list, right? But again, like there is always a trade-off. As I said, But like you can see, the runtime is just like amazing. It's basically like better than most of the people. Let's go back here and explain what's going on. So if I put a breakpoint in here and go to debug mode, you will see in a second how it's exactly working. So if we go to debug mode, and so let's go in here, and we're in the function. So nums is what you can see here, the input array. And we keep going that it's not empty, so we skip that condition. Longest subsequence is defined, and as I said, it's a list, and the only element in that list is the very first element in nums, which is 10. So 10 goes in there, and then I start iterating through. So I go 9, 2, 5, 3, and so on and so forth. I go here, is 9 now. Is the condition true? No, it's not true. It's not greater than the last one in the list, which is 10. So we skip that, and then we go here, and it says find the position, right? And it says left because I want to like keep it sorted in an increasing way, right? Find the index for that, and it says, well, it's 9. We had 10, so it has to go before this. This is the only element in the list, so that goes to index 0. And then this is supposed to go to index 1. But because there is only 1 in here, and I put that in this index, so the list is updated, and we only have 9 in here now, right? And then like we go to the next iteration, next time is 2, right? And we compare it, we have 9, 2 is not greater than 9, so we skip this, and we go to the else statement. Same thing happened. We replace that with 9, so we have let's do that one more time. Yep. So we have 2 in here, right? And then next time we have 5, right? So we have 5. The condition is true, so we append that to the list. And then we go here, and there is 2 and a 5. That's awesome. That's good. Let's keep going. And the next element is 3 that we're considering. So 3, we compare it to the last one in the list, which is 5. Right? The condition is not true, so it goes here, find the position. So 3 belongs somewhere in between. So this is index 0, this is index 1, so we have to put it like after 2 and before 5. So index would be 1, and as you can see, index is updated to 1, and then we put 3 in that index. So now you will see 2 and 3, right? And then the next one that comes in is 7. The condition is true, so we append 7 to the list. So we have 2, 3, 7, and then we have 1 and 1. The condition is true, so you add it to the list. And the last one is 18. The condition is not true. You find the position for that, and it says that it's index 3. So you put it here, so you'll end up with 2, 3, 7, and 18, as you can see here. And that's the end of the operation. And then we just return the length of the one of the list that we have, which is like the longest subsequence. So doing this way, not only we found the length, but also the longest sequence as well. Doing it the way that we did it in the previous method, we would only have the answer, which is like, what is the longest length of the subsequence, right? We wouldn't see what the actual subsequence is. But doing it this way, you can actually see, like, if you return instead of length of this guy, like the list itself, then like you can calculate the length afterwards as well, or you can return both. Doesn't really matter. That's why I like this method better. And as you can see here, the runtime is also much faster. Well, I hope you really enjoyed today's video, and I just thought that I'll share with you my thought process and how I come up with the solutions. Hopefully you found it useful. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to my channel to support me, and also to be notified when the next video is uploaded. Thank you a lot for watching me. Stay safe and healthy. See you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.